Hello, polling campuses and research campuses are still criminally foreign influenced. People make opinions about jobs dishonestly, but also delusions wrought. But that would be corrected if we had the campuses teaching the principles of American history the way James Madison and our founders had declassified for themselves after they were there after they were deceased to have us appreciated for to have communicated for themselves and for us about how and about why they did not have free speech, for example. James Madison's plan and the founders behind him had the means to leverage counter extortion at key locations inside of more than 13 colonies that were entrenched with through other identities of possession over them, like a list of roles with it, but with the breaching method, a singular breaching method that is discernible, but it hasn't been discerned because other things, others ourselves, are blamed, right? Where our founders communicated for us to blame the breaching method. And they're getting away with that by saying, oh, well, we should research. And they're quoting, which criminally foreign influence, tactical delusions wrought, including the courts. The Connecticut Judicial Branch offices and corrections offices has rules with organized crime acts and methods like wire crime acts and methods, digital crime acts and methods, with Washington, D.C. names, like former director of the F.B.I. Robert Luskin, his co-defendants and their family members, and their lawyer, and the lawyer of retired Weathersfield police chiefs, involved with a whole bunch of different countries, involved with them with wire crime acts and methods, involved with them with all natures of the differences of their overt criminal enterprises, the private ones that we have not addressed the way our founders communicated for us to address them. In other words, they have the value of their jobs because the dishonest so they have to be dishonest about what do they think about if other people have jobs or why not. They can't have an honest discussion about that because the whole careers are kept criminally foreign influenced. There are World Trade Center predicate acts rules every year since the World Trade Center that recorded collusions with themselves before the World Trade Center attack, long term too, as ones involved with predicate acts methods at campuses. They are not following mandated law. And the differences of the parties, the differences of the news locations, like CNN, Fox News, and MSNBC have been used by a shell game through administrations where they're putting fake transcripts in their equivalent as World Trade Center predicate acts, WFSB in Rocky Hill, Connecticut. They have rules with people with the town lines at their cities, with the intelligence families involved, where they are recorded use criminally foreign influence, tactical delusions wrought. Forgiveness is because that's at countries A through Z. How that's exploited is at countries A through Z too, but names A through Z have missed it. All exception nature they are sensed, including if it's a body trying to adapt as a majority, including if it's a body trying to adapt as an entire country, wherein how they have unity. We are now natures of unity and or natures of independence, tactile terrier, from how nature communicates with the human species body, of unity and of individual bodies, of simultaneously, of independence. Nature communicates about difference, about independence, about unity. Tactical terror from how there's a quality aspect, a Boolean logic for it that's fake. So they've been faking transcripts with courts on a mass scale, as collusion /s with crime scenes on a mass scale, and with the police forms and interbranch family members. The differences of their guilt, though, or of overt criminal enterprises, private ones, that's also manifest being exploited too, because there's a hyperforeign. They're using rights to lie on a mass scale regarding how they have all these countries shared here and there as they are actually shared next to the campuses. Concentrated probate court judges involved with the same house with proven child abusers, leaders of kids roles, with their extended family members, also involved with the remote uses of the World Trade Center, criminally foreign influence, tactically delusions raw. The value of voting is they're pretending it has value, it doesn't. Wherein how they're not following mandated law legitimately. And when they make mistakes, they're covering it up. They have organized crimes roles with the state corrections offices and judicial branch offices and with the campuses. Increasingly, there are all kinds of professionals and rolls with the campuses at Sandy Hook, Newtown, Connecticut. Have roles of people named O'Brien and Collusions involved with the Wethersfield Police, switching and forging names. Police Chief Cintron, his lawyer, former director of the F.B.I, Robert Luskin, his lawyer, former standing chairperson on the Racketeering Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act. Worse than criminally incompetent and criminally foreign influence tactical illusions wrought, being and have been used remotely since he was a kid, like you guys all, replacing him when nature communicates with black people's white lives, let alone that, and what our founders communicated about it, clearer than day. Little kids discern this. There was a breaching method against the Native Americans that was simultaneously consciously against the colonists, sickly, distinctly hiding its roles with that. Nature itself shows us this. But you guys, rather than going to the follow mandated law first, for the interbranch forging and switching names with the audacity to pretend that their careers are worth anything now. Whole careers have been criminally foreign influence, tactical delusions, or intercities with the same house/S personally and professionally involved with them. Criminally foreign influence, tactical delusions, raw, also interstates as time collusion/S with the World Trade Center attack. And there roles of people with that, with the home break-ins relative through the year tie, and timed use/S of it. Fire departments putting fake transcripts of what happens at their locations, fake why they go there. At this too, they have wire crime acts and methods too, refusing to identify themselves legitimately with the interbranch. I still have response in writing because they have to keep the more predicate acts roles, more organized crimes roles with the police departments, plural, involved with the same house/S. And the campuses at the same time brought up intercities, body dumping spots, names next to body dumping spots, untimely deaths on off campuses, confessions on Facebook. Then they take my Facebook page away. Facebook has rules with people personally involved with Facebook has rules with New Britain Superior Courts, intelligence families, and with other courts, with New Britain, Connecticut's District Court, same ones, involved with Hartford's courts before the World Trade Center attack. And Emily/Amy and Eric Burgess recorded confessed him. She said he wasn't supposed to confess that. He also confessed other things about his roles with the courts and the F.B.I. He didn't say the F.B.I, but I know that's recorded too. Former director of the F.B.I, Robert Luskin, his co-defendants and their family members have roles with the family members and intimate ties of Hartford courts and the Britain Superior Court. And they were planting predicate acts and roles with it at West Hartford locations through time and next to campuses, including with the Dean Judd and his son, with some intelligence family, a whole bunch of intelligence families, all kinds of predicate acts, intercities connected. They brought it up intercities too, how they use people from different police departments, roles with falsified police reports arrays. And then when they go back, they can't find, no one could get the right outcome. And they measure and maintain self-fired rules, blaming other things, others themselves. Nature's demonstrations of that, or ignoring it and say, well, that's not my job. In other words, the hierarchy is breached. Not one has teached free speech. All kinds of delusions too with psychiatry, replacing what I found, replacing what's sane. They're putting fake transcripts on a mass scale. They're only capable of it to defend their identities there and their uses of other people's differences. In other words, a whole bunch of countries are shared with psychiatry right through world wars, replacing America's founding objective. You know, we are still defeated. We are still fact-driven, nature, tortured, extorted, and enslaved. Get them on paper. Not one has paid.